Is there anything that's ever been more capitalism than Nancy Pelosi officiating the wedding of an oil oligarch's daughter covered in shards of broken glass that probably cost more than my car?
This TikToker has pointed out something that I think we've all been frustrated by, but it's very important that we understand the truth behind it. I mean, Nancy Pelosi performing a wedding for the daughter of an oil executive is pretty much a slap in the face to anybody that cares about climate change.
It's like they're not even trying to hide it anymore. CNN's like, no, the Democratic Party isn't run by oil oligarchs. Meanwhile, here's Nancy Pelosi standing on a quadrillion-dollar carpet marrying off the daughter of an oil oligarch. It's like a physical example of how close the US government is to the private sector and oil billionaires.
But this isn't unprecedented. I mean, many people who are held up to be liberal icons very often have long records of supporting the worst features of capitalism in the United States. For example, when Ruth Bader Ginsburg went out of her way in a Supreme Court ruling to say that indigenous folks didn't have real sovereignty over their land, and yet she's held up as some sort of progressive hero.
And CNN just published a fluff piece, like, oh, look at how aesthetic this wedding is. Pay no mind to the fact that these oil billionaires are destroying the planet. Just look at the pretty shiny dresses and Nancy Pelosi, woohoo! It's so beautiful.
But the problem lies a lot deeper than this. You see, the truth is, the birth of the United States itself fundamentally founded on the government serving the interests of the wealthy. I mean, you gotta remember, the people who started the United States were literally white slave owners, and they only gave white landowners, specifically men, the right to vote. The entire purpose of the United States government as it is today is to support the interests of capital. So of course you see Nancy Pelosi in bed with these oil companies. It is only the rare politician that you see that is actually willing to do anything that goes against the grain, to do anything that is actually an effort to support working class people, that isn't just some tokenizing effort or some means-tested half attempt to put a band-aid on a problem. Like Cori Bush, for example. It took her sleeping on the Capitol steps to extend the eviction moratorium, but then even then, Joe Biden watered down the eviction moratorium after that. The few elected officials who are actually trying to change things are having to sprint at an unbelievable pace in order to just tread water on very critical issues like housing. And this is the reason why the Democrats are looking at losing in the midterm. The reason why the Democrats are rocketing towards unpopularity right now in this moment is because they're failing to deliver on the promises that they made. And the reason they're failing to deliver on those promises is because they would rather go to fancy weddings with the daughter of oil executives than actually do anything that would stop climate change or help working class people. And when these Democrats do make promises to make significant changes, the truth is there's always something buried underneath it. Like, for example, there's a lot of talk from the Biden administration about carbon capture. What they don't tell you about the carbon capture technology is that it's really just oil subsidies. Because with a lot of the carbon capture technology that they're talking about taking carbon from the atmosphere and turning it back into fossil fuels to then burn again. That is a nonsense solution. It is not a solution. It is an active escalation of the problem. That is a subsidy for fossil fuel companies that's masquerading as some sort of environmental solution, which is so important to understand because it is fundamental to the nature of Washington, D.C. to prioritize the interests of the largest corporation. They care more about the parties and the fanfare and the opulence of wealthy social life than they care about the real material issues that affect working class people. This is Ben Carollo with Rebel Headquarters. You can catch my show Galaxy Brain on the Young Turks Twitch channel every Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. You can follow me on Twitter if you want to stay up to date with my content.